August 14th, 2006, a 15-year-old kid is sprinting through a Chicago alley at 11 p.m. With a bag full of cash, they catch him and he's panicking, and then, completely out of nowhere, he tells the cops the money is fake. Not only that, he tells them there's a lot more hidden in his dad's apartment. The cops check it out and they find $89,000 in counterfeit bills, and his dad was immediately arrested. Why would his son never rat on his own father to the police? Well, if your dad is Art Williams Jr., the most prolific counterfeiter in American history, maybe it makes a little more sense. But even then, the story gets way weirder than that. Art Williams Jr. spent 15 years printing fake money so perfect that the Secret Service literally said he was one of the best they'd ever seen. Not the best criminal, but the best counterfeiter, period. And the story of how a kid from Chicago projects pulled that off is absolutely insane. Art Jr. didn't grow up with much. His first real memory, watching his mom and dad rob a truck full of TVs. Not exactly a normal Tuesday. By the time Art was 9, his mom had been institutionalized for schizophrenia. And his dad, just gone. No goodbye, no explanation, just gone. A few years later, his mom gets back on her feet, which is genuinely great. She starts dating this slick Italian guy, well-dressed, always smelled like an expensive cologne, big cash. We'll call him Da Vinci. Da Vinci treated Art's mom very well. He was generous, and Art, who had basically zero positive male influence in his entire life, actually looked up to him. For a minute, things were almost okay. Then, Art turned 17, got his 14-year-old girlfriend pregnant, desperate to provide for a baby. At literally the age most kids are worrying about their driver's test, he started stealing cars. Weeks later, he was caught. Sentenced to 3 months in juvie. Da Vinci was disappointed, but believed Art was still a minor. So he decided to do something no one had ever done for this kid before. Da Vinci was a master counterfeiter. He learned this from his father, who learned this from his grandfather back in Italy. Generations of this. And now, he was offering to reach Art. There was rules. 3 of them were not negotiable. Rule number 1, never tell anyone. Not your wife, not your best friend, nobody. Rule number 2, only sell it, never spend it on yourself. You're a wholesaler, not a customer. Rule 3, never be greedy. Print too much and the feds will find you. It's math, not luck. Art dove in completely. He treated this like a master's degree. He had found the one thing in his life he was genuinely gifted at. Finally, 3 months later, Da Vinci just vanished. No calls, no note, nothing. Arrested? Killed by the mob? Art had no idea and couldn't ask around without raising any suspicion. So he just had to accept it. So, another father figure is gone. Now without startup money for a print shop, Art had to go back to the streets. But here's the thing about Art. He was never going to be ordinary. Even as a criminal. He ran in a black Chevy Caprice, rigged it with police lights and a fake badge, and started pulling over actual drug dealers. He'd search their cars, confiscate their cash and product, knock them out with a flashlight, and drive off. I mean, objectively, this is insane. He's robbing drug dealers by pretending to be the police. This is genuinely the most unhinged side hustle I've ever heard of. And it worked for a while. But robbing armed criminals isn't a retirement plan. So with a nice chunk of savings, Art told his wife he was going into the construction. Every single morning, after she dropped him off, he'd walk to the secret apartment, an old printing press, barrels of ink, and a brand new piece of technology he'd just discovered. By combining Da Vinci's old school printing techniques with new school digital scanning and editing, Art started producing fake bills that were terrifyingly convincing. He sold them to the Chicago underworld dealers escorts, cab drivers. He was clearing $50,000 a month. Then, Art made a mistake. A classic mistake. He forgot rule number 3. Sports cars, VIP tables. His wife, who was spectacularly trained to the police academy at that time, immediately knew something was wrong. In 1993, she filed for a divorce. His wife was literally studying to be a cop, and he was literally printing fake money in a secret apartment. That marriage wasn't going to work anyways. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. Devastated, Art left Chicago and moved to Texas to lay low, which he did not do for long. He met Natalie. She loved lifestyle just as much as he did. They fell hard, moved back to Chicago, and he decided to go bigger, way bigger. There was just one problem. In 1996, the US Treasury released a completely redesigned $100 bill. Watermarks, color-shifting ink, security threads. The government publicly said it was a counterfeit proof. Art heard counterfeit proved and heard challenge accepted. Here's something most people don't know about money. It's 75% cotton and 25% linen. That specific blend gives it the feel that cashiers recognize it instantly. You can just order it online without ending up on an FBI watch list. So how did Art solve that? I genuinely love this part. One day, Natalie accidentally ran a counterfeit pen across a piece of the Chicago Sun-Times newspaper, and it passed. The ink chemistry matched real currency. Art literally drove the newspaper's dumpster that night and stole giant rolls of black newsprint. He robbed a dumpster for the paper. This man is a genius and a dumpster diver simultaneously. Yes, low-rider car paint, the same color-shifting metallic paint they spray on custom cars on East LA. It produced the exact optical effect as the Treasury's color-shifting ink. And the hairspray gave the bills that satisfying crispness that screams fresh from the ATM. These bills were not fakes. They were reproductions. There's a difference. Word spread through the underground fast. Art was moving $200 worth of fakes every single month. He was printing $100 bills that fooled the bank tellers, ATMs, everyone. Then, because apparently one rule wasn't enough to break, he started spending it on himself. He'd walk into a mall, buy a $10 pair of baby shoes with a fake 100 and pocket $90 in real clean change. At this point, Art has broken rule 2 and rule number 3, which if you're keeping score at home means he has now broken 2/3 of the only 3 rules he was ever given. This is not a good sign. By now, he'd printed over 5 million in fake bills. His reputation had reached the Russian mafia who'd ordered a $100,000 batch. Art agreed, and that deal is where everything falls apart. Art was dropping off his in-laws at O'Hare. Quick job, in and out. But his wife's sister asked to tag along for the ride. He said fine. That was the terrible decision. Art does the deal, lights up a joint to celebrate. His sister-in-law is in the shower, and then the police knock for a noise complaint. The cops find $60,000 in fake bills, a large bag of weed, and Art's wife completely uninvolved, dripping wet. Very confused sister-in-law. The Secret Service finally had him, except the judge threw the entire case out. The cops had entered without a warrant, a legal search and seizure. Art walked. I don't know whether to be impressed by the justice system or absolutely horrified. Both. It's both. Knowing the feds were watching him now, Art fled to Alaska. And there, in the middle of nowhere, he did something he'd been avoiding his entire adult life. He went looking for his father. The man who walked out when he was 9, he found him, working as a mechanic in a tiny Alaskan town, like a kid desperate for his dad's approval, even at 30-something years old. Art showed him the fake bills, and what did his dad say? Son, you need to go straight. This life will destroy you. Just kidding, his dad said. Can we make more? They planned one final 5 million run. Art was strict. Nobody else could know. His dad agreed. And then, within days, he gave $300 in fake bills to his girlfriend, who gave them to her friends, who immediately spent them at a local mall and got arrested. His father, the man he flew to Alaska to reconnect with him, betrayed him in less than a week. I don't have a joke for that one. That one just hurts. Art destroyed everything, buried the cash in the forest, disappeared to Texas, but it didn't matter. The Secret Service wiretapped his dad, caught him talking, and tracked Art down. Art Jr. for counterfeiting over $10 million across 15 years. 3 years for $10 million. The judge called him one of the most technically gifted criminals he'd ever seen, and then said something that genuinely changed Art's life. How long did it take you to figure all this out? 15 years? Have you ever thought about what you could have done with your life? If you'd spent all that time doing something good for the first time in his life, Art Jr. had no answer. In prison, Art started painting, took the same obsessive attention to detail, the same eye for color, texture, and precision that he'd spent 15 years using to fake money and applied it to canvas. Today, Art William Jr. is completely out of the game. His paintings sell for thousands of dollars at legitimate auctions. And a while back, he opened a highly successful 100% legal art gallery. And the name of that gallery was Da Vinci. The man who taught him how to fake a dollar inspired the name of the gallery, where he finally learned how to earn one. I'm not sure there's a better ending to any story I've ever told. If you want more insane true stories like this one, subscribe to us and I'll see you in the next one.